Alright, what is up? What is up, my guys? It is Khaiza, and welcome back to another Khaiza Dojo. Another LEPISODE. Oh my god, how many days or how many weeks has it been since I did my last Khaiza Dojo LEPISODE? I think the last one I did was about the what's about fighting games, you know, the subgenres of them, like footsies, the verses, you know, all that stuff. And I've just been preoccupied because, you know, Evo was a main agenda for me. Like, I cannot stress that enough. I cannot stress that the amount of time and energy I had to put in, like, every day for Evo, which was fun. Not saying that that's bad or anything, but, you know, Evo's always a fun time. So I wanted to prioritize on watching all of the past top 8s and all of the all of the past highlights from the games that were main sponsored on Evo. Not the side tournaments, but the main ones, because, you know, side tournaments are like dime a dozen. I don't want to count every single fighting game, otherwise that would take more time. But it was a lot of fun just like reacting to the holy shit type of things that you can find at Evo, man. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. I want to like do it again. I want to like do it again for some odd reason. It is what it is. I did what I did. I invested my time. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, back to the Khaiza Dojo. So, like I said, we talked about the what's of a fighting game, or more specifically, like the type of subgenres that you get in fighting games. There is fighting games, and there's always subgenres of things, and we counted like a few of them and my personal favorites of those subgenres. So now we're gonna get into more of the nitty-gritties of fighting games, and I want to start off with FightSticks, or arcade sticks if you prefer. Something that always enamored me about ever since getting into fighting games. These like big ass honky-tonky contraptions of mechanical cogs and wiring. But we're gonna be diving deep of how to position a fight stick, how to hold a fight stick, how to use your hands on the fight stick, how to use motions on the fight stick, and what is the best one to buy. What is the best one to buy if you are interested in a fight stick? So let's begin with like some examples right here. Alright, so how to hold a fight stick, right? How do you hold one of like these things? How do you hold these, right? So arcade sticks, well, I should say like the history of it. Arcade sticks were originally derived from the arcade cabinets, you know, like those big honky-tonky machines you would see in like movie theaters and like places like Chuck E. Cheese or Dave & Buster's, sort of things like that. They were really popular in the 90s and early 2000s until, you know, the rise of mobile phones and just smartphone technology, and, you know, arcade cabinets became kind of like an antique, or I want to say like an obsolete thing. I don't want to be rude, but kind of that's like how it is. Although there are some sites that still house arcade cabinets, like Galloping Ghost Arcade in Chicago. That's one known site. I don't know where else. Of course, there's Dave & Buster's as well, and Chuck E. Cheese's. But those are like not really authentic. They're just like casual level, right? Not really the OD level, the S tier level of enthusiasm of arcade cabinets like Galloping Ghost Arcade. But anyway, when smartphones came around, arcade cabinets were recalled. They were no longer in use, and people started using, companies started making, you know, portable fight sticks like these. So honky-tonky machines, they are all the rage right now. They're the modern way to play fighting games without the use of an arcade cabinet, and more so than a controller right here. So, how to hold an arcade stick? How do you hold a fight stick? Well, literally holding one right now. That's the true emphasis of that. I could hold it like a fucking boombox. Just like hold it like this, or, you know, shit like that. But to wait to position a fight stick, right? So you position a fight stick, you know, right here. You position it on top of your thighs, or It hides your crotch. It hides your crotch type of thing. It sits above your thighs. I've seen other dudes, other FGC people that lay like a fight stick on the floor and they play it. But more generally, you can play a fight stick. You play a fight stick on top of your thighs, on top of your legs, and then you're just like good from the get-go. So that's how you position a fight stick. Now, how to like use a fight stick, or how to use your hands, on a fight stick, I think I'll show you with a practical example of one. So we're gonna be playing in a Fighting EX layer for this demonstration of how to use your hands on a fight stick. So, god damn, I forget how pretty and visualistically cool some of the character portraits are in Fighting EX layer. God, look at this shit. Let's go to Kyrie, looks cool. Crackerjack, yo damn, Crackerjack means business. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit, Crackerjack means business. Holy shit, Crackerjack means business here. Who else is there? All the female waifu characters are cool, like Sanane, Hokuto, even Shirase, which is the corrupted for Hokuto for some odd reason. Sharon looks beautiful. Shadowgeist! Darun Mista! Holy shit. Scaramania! So, how do you hold like a fight stick using your hands, right? How do you use your left hand? How do you use your right hand on a fight stick? Your hands your hands serve a different purpose. So for your left hand, for instance, is that you hold the stick by doing a what's it called, a wine glass motion. So this is like an alliteration or like an idiom. I think that's what it's called, of, you know, practical examples of how to hold something like this, right? So you hold your left hand like this. Like literally, like, you know, James Bond, you know, hold a wine glass type of style. Give me a martini. Make it on the rocks. You know, some people have hold it like this. I prefer mine's like this. Like my wrist should be on like the surface template of the stick, while still keeping the wine glass method there, but a little bit outreach. So I do a little bit of both. Methods for my left hand. How to move is you move left like this. You move left like this. So you use your forefinger and your middle finger like so. So you move your fore and middle finger like this. That's how you moved right or forward in this case in a fighting game. How to move back is you use your left thumb. If you want to do something called, in what's it called, fighting games, dashing, where you literally, like, you know, shoo, like swoosh a little bit to the opponent, or in some fighting games, run, you double tap the direction of your joystick. So my middle and forefinger to do forward walking, double tap it, it becomes running. Double tap your joystick with your left thumb in the backwards direction, it becomes backwards dash. And this is pretty useful in fighting games because there are things in fighting games called backwards invincibility, meaning that if the opponent is gonna, like, you know, do something, you can backdash and you'll be invulnerable. So what that means is, like, you negate any damage that will be done to you by just backwards dashing. And it's a very useful tip. Now, down, or like crouching like this, is using your fore and middle finger to input down, like so. Down, 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 right? Pretty simple, pretty sweet, pretty awesome, pretty cool. If you want to be like, you know. Next up is ups, so, or jumping in this case. So what you do is you move your left thumb up on the joystick like so. This is called jumping. A very useful tip in fighting games to jump over on opponents, maintain like higher ground, get them into the air zone, and make their strongest suit for fighting games, the ground zone, not usable. This is jump up backwards, so you do up back on the L stick with your left thumb, and vice versa for jumping up forward. Jump up forward, move the L stick, move the joystick up forward. So this is how you do your left hand, and this is how you do directions. Left, right, down, up, up back, up forward. Simple, right? It just takes some time getting used to. Now, the other thing that will also take getting used to as well is your right hand, your righty. So in the right position of your right hand is your buttons. You have 2 rows of 2x4s, a 2x4 plate of 8 buttons. So this is your first row of buttons, and this is your second row of buttons. And in games like Fighting EX Layer, Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, what else? Maybe King of Fighters. You will sometimes have 3 punches, so light punch, medium punch, and heavy punch. And of course, you also have 3 version kicks: light kick, medium kick, and heavy kick. These are your light to heavy series on punches, light to heavy series on kicks. How you use your right hand to coordinate like buttons is like hover around them like this. So that way your forefinger, your middle finger, and your tertiary finger will be hovering over these buttons at like a millisecond notice. So if you want to like do light punch, literally 1 second left, literally less than a second for you to react and spring out a light punch. This is a term in fighting game terminology called pianoing, right? Like, you think of your buttons, like you position your hands like this as like you're playing on a piano. So you know how like piano players like do like it's this similar concept to like fighting games. You kind of technically play a piano with your fight stick. Yeah, fighting games definitely use this like element called pianoing to their right hand advantage for using fight sticks in fighting games. So you hover around like these three buttons in particular, because that's your main de facto, and this will be explained later. But these are like your primary, tools, your primary ease of access reach for your fingers when playing fighting games. You don't necessarily, touch these. These are like your auxiliary buttons or your extra buttons, because most sticks usually come in like 8 buttons. I know there's like some that come with like 6 buttons. The standard ones usually come in like 8. But for the most part, these buttons are extra. I also know that some of my friends or some people that I know who have fight sticks or hitboxes, they usually have these buttons turned on and they use them for play. For me, I don't necessarily use them. They're just like extra buttons, because why? Since I play like a lot of fighting games myself, I know there are like button shortcuts. So you have like one specific button, like let's say this button right here occupies your 3 punches, or this button occupies your 3 kicks. If you have a fight stick and if you know like how the button layout is, you could just press all 3 buttons like this. It would still read as like one button assigned as 3 punches or 3 kicks. So you could just literally like stomp the buttons with your hands like so. Fairly simple. It's a very easy shortcut for you to like know. Now, of course, now that we're on the subject of attacking, let's talk about like the attacks. So this is like your neutral pose. The character that you're seeing is like standing on his feet. He's in a standing position. And these are your standing attacks. Ooh. Right? And these are your crouching attacks. So when you're holding down and then you press any button, then that is considered a low attack. Something that's from a standing position, these are counted as mids or highs. Something that attacks like, you know, the mid position of the opponent's body, or highs that attack like their head and shit. Lows, you have to like hold down the L stick, like so, with what I'm doing with my left hand, and then you press any attack button. And these are your lows. Normally you do like crouching heavy punch like this. It leaves them like this. It still leaves them on standing, but if you do crouching heavy kick, it trips them up, you know, like MK shit, you know, back 4 or down 4. Back 4, it like sweep the leg, puts the opponent in a knockdown situation, and they have like a few frames to like get up, or as they call wake ups. Because like you gotta wake up. I knocked you down, wake up. There you go. So those are the different types. Those are the two different types of attacks: standing and crouching or lows. High or highs, mids, and lows. Now let's talk about motions, right? The most, I think, grueling part in a fighting game, because they are like command inputs that your brain has to like work around to do special moves. Like, you know how characters have like a fireball or a rising dragon or a hurricane kick, like that spinning leg kick thing. Well, my friends, my peoples, I'll tell you how to do motion. So let's start off with the first one, Hadokens or fireballs. So how to do a fireball is down, forward, and then forward. So down, forward, and then forward, and then punch right after, and as soon as you can. Because if you do it slow, I'll tell you this right now, if you do it slow, the button won't come out. I'll demonstrate right here. One, down, forward. I did it too slow. Ergo, the move did not come out. So what you want to do is be fast with your motion and button press. So fireball forward. That's how you do a fireball. And of course, there are different versions depending on the button you press. So this is light, medium, faster, heavy, fastest. So there you go. That's how you do a fireball or a Hadoken or a projectile. Now, the second motion is Shoryuken, right? That's a Shoryuken or rising dragon. It's called a rising dragon or a dragon punch. Rising dragon punch. Literally like a move that beats out opponents who are doing airs or is either invincible. As you have seen in Guilty Gear, things like Dragon Ball or Marvel vs. Capcom, the list goes on. So how to do a Shoryuken is, the input is this: forward, down, and then down, forward. Forward, down, and then down, forward. And then you do the corresponding button with it. In this case, for Kairi, it's punches. Mariureko. He calls it Mariureko. But this is a hard motion to do. Why? Because you literally have to do a zigzag motion. And most of the times, it does not want to come out, right? It does not want to come out. So you have to be super fast, and lastly, you have to time your motion direction. If it says down forward, the last motion you have to do is down forward, and then immediately after, press a button right after. Like so. Another way to interpret a dragon punch is a zigzag. So you do like forward, zigzag. So you do like forward and then down back and then down forward. And kind of like roll the stick a little bit. But zigzag motion definitely works. Definitely works on Shoryuken motions. Now the other motion is the Tatsumaki, or the spinning wind kick. And definitely Kairi has that. So what wind kick motion is down, down back, and then back. So it's literally the reverse of quarter circle forward. Except this time it's quarter circle back. And of course with Tatsumakis, or spinning wind kicks, it's usually tied with kicks. So reverse fireball. That's how you do Tatsumakis, or wind kicks. So the other motion for fighting games is the charge motions. And what do you mean by charge? How do you like charge moves? So this definitely derives from old Street Fighter 2, right? There's a certain character by the name of Guile, and he had moves that didn't proc like a fireball forward or a DP. His motions, or his move list, consisted of charging a certain motion back and then forward with an immediate button press. So Crackerjack is a good example of that, because Crackerjack's moves is all about charge motions. So to demonstrate how a charge motion works is that you do is charge back and then forward and then immediate button press. Charge back for a while and then forward with a button press. That's how you do charge motions in this game. Another charge move, which is down and then up with kicks. But in this case, Crackerjack doesn't have that, because he is like a weirdo, but he does have like an upper. Those are charge moves, and charge moves depend on how long you have to hold it down for. Sometimes it's like 1 second, sometimes it's about like half second. They're usually pretty short. Some are even like 2 seconds or 3 seconds once you start out. It definitely feels like 3 seconds, but once you start to play fighting games and like test out like how much the charge time is for a move, then you start to feel like, oh, it's actually shorter than I realized. But you get the idea, right? These are charge moves. Another fundamental fighting game motion that some characters really rely on, like Guile or Leo Whitefang in Guilty Gear Strive. There's also another motion which certain characters have, and that's the half circle forward. So half circle forward is literally rotating the stick back to forward, rotating the stick back to forward. And Crackerjack has a good example of that, because he gets like a bat and just like swings your ass. There you go. Now the next thing we're going to be seeing about motions is about ultras or supers. Now ultras and supers are kind of like the big, like grandiose, you know, enhanced versions of specials that a character has in his arsenal. They take up about like 1 bar of meter, which you see right below the character's health bar, and they're usually good supers. They're usually good like moves that get you out of dodge type of situations, or just like do that chip damage, or you know, increase damage, or utilities. There are a wide variety of supers slash ultras that really benefit slash help, or maybe sometimes like worsen, depending on what fighting game it is, in my opinion. But ultras come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes. In this case, Alan Snyder is like your very much a Shoto-like character, you know. Fireball, Rising Dragon, he doesn't have a tatsu, but he does definitely act and feel like a Shoto. So he has a, so you know how there's like a fireball, right? Some characters in the game have like an ultra or a super version of this fireball. A good example of that would be Ryu from Street Fighter / Marvel vs. Capcom. He has just Hadouken, and his ultra super forms is of that fireball is Shinku Hadouken. And that's usually inputted when it comes to games like Street Fighter or yeah, I think Street Fighter. Yeah, definitely Street Fighter. What am I thinking? What Ryu does for the ultra motion is double fireball forward. That is fireball forward once, fireball forward again. So you do fireball motion 2 times and then a button afterward. So when you see this live and in person in demonstration, it looks like this. That's how you do double motions in fighting games. And this is the ultra, you know, notation, and different characters have different ultra motions. Okay, so there is also another super motion that's also very critical to playing the game, and that is the raging demon. Now, what are you talking about, Khaiza? What the hell is a raging demon? So, a raging demon also originates from Street Fighter in a specific character by the name of Akuma. And Akuma had a button press series that's not like light, medium, heavy, right? No, you press a combination of buttons to actually get you a ultra move that's not like a double fireball forward, or a double fireball back, something like that. What this does is that it's a different kind of motion in a very specific sequence, and you have to hit that sequence on right. You can't just press one at a time to actually do the ultra. You have to like be fluent with it, like a fucking piano, like pianoing. So Skull's raging demon is light punch, forward, light kick, heavy punch. So that's a raging demon. Okay, so we popped in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? Certain games like, so you could do a ultra like Ryu's Shinku Hadouken with just only one motion, but with multiple buttons. So I'll demonstrate right now. And of course, you could like Marvel 3, you could like mash out to get like more damage. That's just like became a bad habit. So there's the ultra for that one. Then there's your level 3. Alright, different tricks. Okay, so different tricks. So we pretty much covered everything, but I do want to cover a little bit of like tips and tricks of, you know, how to do certain fighting game mechanics. One that require, you know, strict raw motions, but a little bit easier for you, because, you know, these tips can be really helpful in certain tight situations, right? Or just like stylish overall, or just straight execution, or a little bit of both. Who knows? So the first tip I want to like go over is, you know how Shoryuken is like this, right? Right? Raw, you know, zigzag motion, forward, down, and then down, forward, right? There is a certain trick to do Shoryukens if you do not want to do the zigzag, because who knows, you might say, oh, the zigzag is hard. It doesn't come out consistently for me, right? What you can do is forward and then fireball forward. What that does is that it still maintains the properties of a Shoryuken, but with two little camouflage techniques, the forward and the fireball forward. So if I demonstrate here, can see I'm like dashing a little bit forward because, you know, tag games have like forward air dashing by pressing, you know, this, right? And it's very lenient on that. But you get what I mean, right? It's an easy trick if you are hella getting stuck with just doing raw motions or raw motions in certain situations, like if you're knocked down, if you want to do like a wake up dragon punch, or if you're catching an opponent mid-air and you can't do like the shoryuken at all. So this is an easy way to do DPs with under forward and with under the camouflages of forward and fireball forward. This is especially useful in the reverse situation. So I have a tough time with doing reverse DPs in the reverse, doing DPs in the reverse situation, because reverse situation is literally the DP motion but backwards. I could do it raw, right? No problem. But it is a little bit tough. I won't get it consistent all the time. So this is useful for me. The shoryuken trick is useful for me because I could hit it like almost more consistently than the raw version. See how consistently I get that? It's super fucking good. Now the other motion I wanted to talk about, and I think the last one we'll talk about, is the Tiger Knees. Now in certain characters, they have an air version of their specials. Like so. Ryu has an air fireball version. So, only in this game, of course. Only in this game. He doesn't have Akuma, where he has, you know, Zanku Hadoken, which is up and then fireball forward. And that's like his whole persona in all the Street Fighter games. That isn't necessarily true with Ryu because all of his fireballs is grounded. Because he's a grounded ass footsie boy. But some characters have air specials by just inputting up and then fireball forward. However, there's a certain helpful tip that you can do with this, is that what you do is fireball forward and then up forward and then the attack button So what that visually looks like is this. So I immediately did an air version of a move, just like ground zero from the ground, literally off the ground. I was like hopping. In regular motion it's like this, but with Tiger Knees I can hit somebody. I can hit somebody with an air special just like literally 4 feet from the ground. Or even shorter. Like that. I know there was like an infinite I saw one time at like Twitter, but I'm not gonna like go over that. But yeah, these are your motions, and I believe I can feel confidently to say I believe we have covered the entire variety spectrum of, you know, motions in fighting games. We got your fireballs, we got your tatsu, we got your tatsus, we got your shoryukens, we got your ultras, we got you know, all that stuff. We got double doubles, we did all that stuff. So I think we're good, and we should segue into like some of the other stuffs about, you know, FightSticks. Now that we've covered, you know, every little bit of nitty dippy, tricky wicky things about fighting games, where do you start off with, you know, getting a fight stick? So, my general practice is, you know, if you want to get a fight stick, of course, you can be allowed to get one, right? I'm not gonna force something, or I'm not gonna suggest something. I can do suggestions, but What you do with your fighting game preferences or your controller preferences is up to you. You know, there are pad players, there are stick players, you know, you can go with either one, whatever's comfortable for you. But if you are really interested in, you know, getting a fight stick, like something like, you know, this, ow, my headphones. If you're really interested in getting a fight stick, then I would suggest, you know, this fight stick. I would suggest the Qanba Drone. The Qanba Drone, it is the standard de facto beginner level fight stick. So this is made by the Qanba dude, same as the stick that I was using for the example videos. Example demonstrations of Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Fighting EX Layer. But this one is really, you know, the beginner class. So compared to the stick that I was using, this stick is much more, you know, spring-like. So you hear sounds that feel like very, you know, they do shit that's very archaic or mechanical sounding. Like buttons feel a little bit loud. These are not, you know, crisp sounding buttons that you would get in standard arcade sticks. That joystick moves in like a kind of like a rusted type of vibe, you know what I mean? Not that like the joystick is actually, you know, rusty, but it does have that audio like description about it. Like it's very archaic. And there is a wire compartment. This is the actual wire that comes with the Qanba Drone. It has a nifty little like bookshelf sleeve that you could pack the arcade stick wires in. It has nice little buttons for you to like level your eyes on. Like there's a lock switch, and this is also important in fight games. Like this is the lock switch. This button right here. I don't know if you guys can see, but this is the lock switch. And what the lock switch does is that this is very important for fighting game, you know, locales, tournaments, stuff like that. So what that does is that, let's say you're playing against someone in a like top 8, like winner semis, right? You accidentally press, you know, the PlayStation home button right here. If you're playing on a PS4 or a PS3, it would send you to like the main menu, and that's kind of like an instant DQ because that's almost like a rage quit. That's like bad manner behavior. You don't want to like rage quit at like the front center stage unless you're like that type of person. Not saying that you are. But that's like an immediate like DQ or like call on judges because you don't want to accidentally press this button mid-match, right? So what you do is flip this switch to lock, and these buttons do not work. They do not interfere at all with the PlayStation or console system. And your only focus is on these buttons, this joystick. So the lock switch helps. Other things are like the console switch. Like there's a PS3, PS4 button, so you switch either or and play on that corresponding system. There's also options, R stick, L stick, turbo, mode, share, stuff like that that you would find in a PlayStation stick. But the Qanba Drone, its selling price is $80 at best. This is the standard de facto stick. It's a meager, manageable price, albeit it's not like the best price, I would say, because, you know, $80 is like a little bit too much. It's like the de facto price of pre-ordering a deluxe edition of a game from like GameStop or any other retail place. But this is like a good, comfortable feeling, you know, the similarly standard size fight stick that you would see in that you would see in fighting game players. This is like a good, comfortable stick. It is a highly recommended one for beginners of the fighting game genre. But if you want to try other sticks of something a little bit smaller, right? Of something a little bit smaller, I would recommend the Hori FightStick Mini. Now, this is another fight stick made by Hori, a company who also excels in fight sticks. This is a stick most primarily used, you know, for the Switch, but like with the Qanba Drone, you could also use it for PC. You could also use it for PC if the system, like let's say Steam or Epic Games Store, has the correct software for you to like insert a USB drive from your arcade stick to the actual PC/laptop, and it recognizes that it is a controller. Most of the time in PCs, they would always register like an Xbox 360 because it has easy to read firmware from the PC laptop, and it just works. Steam, it's a little bit weird because they have like all different types of controllers like PS4, PS5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Steam controller, you name it. But would I recommend this mini fight stick? I wouldn't say so. Like, to actually show how the fight stick, you know, is. And so the Hori fight stick on your lap, like right around like this size right here, if you guys can see. So it's a very small stick. Like if you place it right between like your legs, you know, it's just like I have to like squint my thighs like right here. I can't like place it comfortably because otherwise if I place it like this, it will like whoop, it will fall off, and that's like no good. That's no good. And but other than that, like it's a good feeling stick, you know. It's a good like, at least like in terms of hands, you know what I mean? Like I can still do all my shits on the arcade, on the joystick, like move my hands, but the buttons are a little bit small, you know? Like they're not that great. Like it would be something more fitted, you know, and I don't want to be rude about this, but it would be something more of a feminine girls, you know, like petite hands, because mine are like big hands, you know. Sure, this could be used on like on the floor, right? Like you could use like floor format, but this is very much for like a little girl or like a little toddler. Well, I wouldn't say toddler, but maybe a little kid, maybe. But it's alright. It's an alright stick. It's also a good beginner stick. This is the cheapest arcade stick compared to like the Qanba Drone. And the Qanba Drone is like $80, whereas this stick, if you buy it like right now, or if there's like an occasional sale, most likely $50. So that's like, man, that's manageable. That's like standard, you know, price for a retail price game, which is usually $60, just $10 less. So it's fine. But it's not my cup of tea. But if you like a small stick that's perfectly within your reasonable budget, and if you like this type of small stick, it's very portable as well. You can carry it like in your pocket. Not in your pant pocket, but in your big loafer like pocket, then this is definitely the stick to go, you know. Now, other sticks would be something that I used in the demonstration, the Qanba Obsidian that I use. So this is like the standard de facto stick. Very clear like metal ball top joystick. It has the Qanba Hayabusa buttons. So compared to the Qanba Drone, these buttons actually sound pretty nice. Like they're not as loud or springy as the Qanba Drone, but they have like a nice feel. They have a soft responsive touch. They are an all-around more comfortable stick than the Qanba Drone. And it is the standard, you know, medium stick. Like this, like the drone was the beginner, this is the intermediate stick. And this is for those, like, if you feel like really comfortable and you want to advance your arcade stick level game. And it has more features than the Qanba Drone. Like, for instance, you have PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PC option. So if for some odd instance you don't have like the right drivers, or if your SCP toolkit, which allows your PC or laptop to run PS4, PS3 controllers on your computer, and it goes haywire, like mine for instance, where I literally switched to like PS4 setup, it doesn't work. Luckily, I switched to PC mode of my Qanba Obsidian stick, and it works. It fucking works. That's the benefit compared to the Qanba Drone, is I have 3 options of play with the Qanba Obsidian for fighting games. There's also the lock switch, the LED, which is a cool aesthetically pleasing feature because in the Qanba Obsidian Drone, you get like these like LED lights. So when I move the stick like this, you see like there's like a little light here. That's for like joystick movement. For button movement, you get something like this. Pretty neat, right? Pretty fucking neat. And there's also a touchpad. So if you're like, let's say for instance, playing Guilty Gear Strive, right? Or any game on like the PS5, you want to like quick restart or like a quick setup to get your perfect training situation, right? Qanba Drone doesn't have that touchscreen feature, but the Qanba Drone does. But the Qanba Obsidian does. So by pressing this little button right here, you can just like poof. I immediately reset the training area to neutral, and I'm good to go for another combo route that I've been labbing on. And that's the Qanba Obsidian. Starting price for the Qanba Obsidian is generally, you know, $200. This is the... It's a lot of like, whoa, $200. That could be used to like pay rent or like pay a little bit of mortgage for 1 month, right? These are expensive hobbies. I shit you not. These are expensive antique hobbies that if you really like fighting games and if you like the antiquity design, if you want to feel like the cool guy of the fighting game FGC group, this is a good hobby. This is a stylish hobby. This is a useful hobby if you really think that way. But it is an expensive hobby. I will not joke about that. These are $200 to $300 investments. And you gotta invest more so than like a car. Well, a car is like, you know, necessary because you need to have a car to like travel. Of course, you can get like stylish cars like, you know, Chevrolets, cabriolets, convertibles, stuff like that. That's also a very stylish, you know, investment. Like anything, there's like an investment if you want to like look cool and impress your friends. But this is like, for me, and this is coming out of my own experience, this is a very high investment because you wouldn't have the right mind to like pay for like a video game controller, right? Something like this. You would pay for like a regular controller, of course, but for this, nah. This is something that I like, you know, I love fighting games, I love the arcade cabinets, I love, you know, FightSticks, so I'm gonna build my collection. And that fits my interest, that investment fits me. So I like playing fighting games. Definitely, I'll go for it. But again, $200 is not something to like, you know, joke, laugh, or sneeze about. These are real money you have to buy if you want to get like fight sticks like these. There are some controllers, like there are some arcade sticks that cost like $140, $150. Some like this one right here. Oh god. There's like the Hori RAP Hayabusa, right? The Hori RAP Hayabusa. Kind of a very elitist type of fight stick for the Nintendo Switch. You know, ball top, arcade stick, buttons, you know, wire compartment, multiple functionality buttons for the Switch. Shit like that, right? And I don't think there's a lot of like fighting games on the Switch. I know there's Power Rangers, I know there's Guilty Gear Accent Core, I know there's the OG Guilty Gears, but I don't know what else fighting games are there on the Switch, you know? But this is like an elite level fight stick, so again, like the Obsidian, if you want to invest on this, invest. If you want to play fight sticks, then I suggest to invest some money and actually save up money to buy these things, because they're cool. But if you don't use them, if you don't play them, if you're not comfortable with fight sticks, then don't invest at all. I kid you not. I'm just like saying the harsh truth right now, because you know, maybe fight sticks are not for everyone. Fight sticks are only like for a few people. If you prefer controller, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But again, fight sticks are a very interesting, you know, like a very niche type of like controller. And if you like fighting games to a degree like myself and want to enhance your game, for me, I say this to enhance your fight level game. These are like controllers for you to like improve your game. And other sticks that I have, there's also like stylish ones that I also invested in, but I will gladly take that investment. Oh my god, everything is falling. Everything is falling. Ugh! Everything is falling. Everything is falling. London is falling. London is falling. This is another fight stick that I bought. This is a Razer Panthera fight stick. And this is a very unique type of fight stick because it has a interesting decal made by some artist. I don't know who. I wish I knew. But it is a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite decal, like an art design, caked into the RAP 4 fight stick, and it is badass. Cause you know me, I love Marvel. I love, you know, that type of gameplay, and I just had to buy one of these things. $200, I'll take it. Or $150, I'll still take it. Joystick, buttons, you know, all your functions in here in a very stylistic manner. Your plus your plus or start / select buttons are right here. So it is a very good arcade stick to have. And especially if you're a Marvel fan, this is an awesome arcade stick to own. But yeah, $150, $200 fight sticks. Some arcade sticks like the Qanba Dragon, I know that's like a $300 fight stick, and I would not recommend that. I would not recommend that. Maybe some of you, I would, because it is a very cool looking stick. I'm not gonna lie, it is very flashy, it is very stylish, but it is fucking cool. There are also other fight sticks out there, like the Hitbox, where instead of the joystick, it's replaced with buttons. So not only do you have attack buttons, but you also have movement buttons on your left hand. And I want to like try out a fight stick to feel that, but I don't know. I'm so used to like joystick to like all my fighting games that I can't break away from it. It's like again, it's controller preference. If you are used to like joysticks with fight sticks, then that's totally for you. That's totally fine for you. If you like a hitbox, if you want to be like the cool kid in the crowd that wants to have a hitbox, then definitely go for it. But yeah, those are everything I have to say about FightSticks. Hopefully I gave everything my all. I do like stutter a lot, I do like blab a lot, but I hope that's fine for you guys. Hopefully it was informative, informational, it was easy to understand. Hope I was clear and transparent with my explanations. I do like have, you know, my autism, so explanation's a bitch, because, you know, running off from your mind or like ad-lib with your mind is like super fuck. Oh my god. But hopefully I gave enough information and did some things, said some things that are accurate or believable, plausible about FightSticks. And if I'm wrong, leave it in the comments. I would love to see improvements of how to improve my, you know, tutoring, you know, game. But anyway, that's it for today. That's it for Khaiza's LEPISODE. I believe next week, since we're like on the discussion of FightSticks, what's the difference between, you know, FightSticks versus a pad or controller? What are like some of the pros and cons with like a controller versus a fight stick? So that would be a fun episode to like record and do. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, that's it for today. That's it for today, guys. Like the video, comment down below on what fight sticks do you have, and if this video was informative, informational, and easy to clear, understandable. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Channel name is Khaiza. We reached like 50 subscribers, so halle frickin' Ludia. Click that bell icon, that way you'll be notified on when I upload a video on the channel. And of course, also subscribe to my other channel, Khaiza_plays. That channel is where I do my single player, multiplayer videos, and also fight games or multiplayer games with friends, with homies. So be sure to subscribe to that channel and get to like 50 subscribers on that channel as well. So with that said, I'll be outie, I'll rest up, I'll do some mad recording, I'll spend the day with mom. I'll see you next time. YouTube. Peace.